New York election results, or at least we'll touch on them. De Blasio got 40%. There'll be a recount, though, because that 40% threshold is the threshold needed to pass for no runoff. With the second place finisher Thompson, who got 26%. Christine Quinn, 15%. Lou, 7%. Wiener, I think around, 5%, 4%. Randy Credico, 2%. And results that were pretty disappointing from my perspective. Elliot Spitzer, only 48%. Scott Stringer, 52% in the race for comptroller. I think Elliot Spitzer would have done some very interesting things in that position, but not to be. One note also, 40% is the cutoff where there will be no runoff. But that does not mean that in the event that he gets less than 40%, there will necessarily be a runoff. Thompson's numbers never topped 35% in any, I think, part of the city, which is an indication that he may not choose to engage in a runoff, in which case de Blasio would face Joe LaHoda, who is has some renown for his disdain for kittens, if it means the trains aren't running on time in New York City. I don't know that there's much value in getting too much into that, as much of this audience does not live in New York City. But I think the chances of a Republican winning in this day and age in New York City, with the amount of class consciousness that seems to be present in New York, is pretty low. So we shall see. I don't know that de Blasio is the answer to all our problems in New York. I mean, I think in some respects that remains to be seen, but certainly with the field that we were looking at, he provides the best hope. And at the very least, it's an indication that in this city there is a real problem in terms of the disparity of wealth, and specifically between the 1% and the rest. I think there has never been as much anxiety, even amongst those in the 95 percentile in terms of money, as rent is eating up an ever-increasing portion of people's pay in this city. So, at the very least, the de Blasio victory is an indication of the sentiment of New Yorkers, and it was a fairly sizable chunk of the Democratic electorate that came out. I think it was around 600,000 people, which figures quite well against past Democratic primaries.